Good morning, everyone. I am Tiffany Parker of TD Parker Risk Management and Insurance Consulting. And I wanted to come to you guys with a video today because I wanted to talk about some things that I've been seeing since this whole pandemic. And I know it's a really stressful time for a lot of people. It's uncertain times, as we've heard so much in the media, right? But I think it's also a time where people are finding newfound opportunities, where they are taking chances and risk that they may not have entertained before. And so, because of that, we're seeing a lot of folks, or at least I'm seeing a lot of folks, starting businesses, which I think is astounding, amazing. I'm so excited for every new business owner that I see that's springing forward in the midst of this really weird time. But I don't find it scary. And if you know a little bit about me, you know that I walk a lot on my faith. So I don't find the time scary, but, and I find the time somewhat exciting, because I see it as this world is going to change in a way that it's forcibly being pushed to change in a way that I think will be for the better. It may not look like that now, and a rapper that I really like, he said something that I thought was really just real, in that you have to destroy before you rebuild sometimes. So it could be that there's a lot that happens in 2020 beyond what we've already seen. But I think that all of these things could be very, very positive for a lot of people, and for our world as we know it. So, anyway, like I said, I'm really excited to see new business owners. And because of that, I thought, okay, I'm in the insurance arena. How can I be a resource to new business owners? And so, what I kind of came up with was to talk to you all about risk management. Insurance, it's not that interesting. You need it as a business owner, as a individual. You need it in some areas, in any given area of your life, right? Or your bit of your business. But is it an interesting topic to talk about? Not necessarily. But I think risk management, even and I think risk management can be an interesting topic, and it could be one that is really helpful to you as you are developing your business plan, you're navigating through the first few years of your business. A risk management, if you do establish a risk management plan, it's ever evolving. And so if you ever look up risk management, it looks like the processes of risk management go in a circle. So it's a constant loop of you identifying the risk that your business has, you coming up with strategies to mitigate those risks, or, and mitigation is avoiding, or, oh Lord, don't tell me, minimizing, etc. And then you monitor the strategies you put into place, and then if you find that in the monitoring of those strategies, it's not working out, you reevaluate, you come up with new strategies, and you monitor again. And as your business evolves, that plan evolves, right? So that's what I wanted to talk to you all. I got you all about. If I'm stuttering and whatnot, it's because this is the first time I'm really putting together a video like this. So I may, stumble through this a little bit, but I want to make sure I give you guys some good tips about how to kind of start, or even start thinking about risk management as it pertains to your business. And a lot of folks look at risk management and they think that's for a big business. I have a small organization, or I have a small business, a one-man shop, sole proprietorship. I don't need that. But the reality is, every business, regardless of its size, has a need for a risk management plan, because essentially all a risk management plan is you ensuring that your business is sustainable regardless of what's going on in it or outside of it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I have some notes because I'm a little bit nervous. So I'm going to refer to my notes. The two areas I want to talk about, and this could be a two-part video. And you guys comment and let me know if this is even helpful. If it's helpful, then we'll make it a two-parter, okay? But what I wanted to talk to you all about is the internal and external risk. Okay, the internal and external risk is what I want to talk to you guys about. But at first, I want to define risk management. So, risk management is the process of identifying possible risks, problems, or disasters before they happen. This allows a business owner to set up procedures to avoid the risk, minimize its impact, or at the very least, help cope with its impact. Right? I looked up a lot of different definitions for risk management, and some of them are so convoluted. Essentially, you have a business, you want to protect that business. Not all risk to a business can be insured. So the risk that cannot be insured, you have to come up with strategies in order to mitigate those risks if they were to happen to your business. So we're going to talk about internal and external risks. Internal risks. All right. Some of the internal risks to your organization. One is human risk. So that's the illness or death of a key employee. All right. So how does that impact the continued operation of your business? Or a key employee leaves. Like if you got a stellar salesperson on your team and that salesperson is making up the bulk of your sales, that person leaves and leaves with their customer base, what do you do? And that's another component of that is a non-compete contract. Okay, look that up, talk to an attorney about that. But that's a necessity if you're in an arena where you have a lot of competition and potentially your staff becomes your competition or wants to try. If they have a non-compete, if you have a non-compete in place, that helps you. The other risk is, well, let's throttle back, right? So human risk. So human risk is going to be if you lose an employee or a key employee dies, what are you going to do? So you have to start thinking about if this person leaves, what do I do? If this person passes away, what do I do? So it's putting together strategies to help you in the event that these things happen. They may not happen. That's the thing. We hope and we pray that these things never happen, but we don't know. And you have to prepare for the unknown in order to ensure the sustainability, of your business. The second human risk to consider, the second internal risk to consider is theft, fraud, or embezzlement. And these are your employees. If you have staff, then you have to worry about whether or not those staff members are going to steal from you. They're going to defraud you. They're going to embezzle money because look, I've heard of it. So don't think that, oh, I can trust these people. And sometimes it's the people that you think are your day ones. Hard times, people come up on hard times. They may do all kinds of desperate things. So you have to prepare for that. There is insurance for that sort of incident, that sort of risk, and that is called crime insurance. So if you do have a business where you have staff, they're dealing with money, they're dealing with credit card numbers or what have you, and that is a concern for you, it should be a concern. If it's not, and you have, that going on, it should be a concern, then come talk to me. Especially if you're in Virginia, come talk to me and I can help you out with crime insurance, okay? So another, and then there's morale. There's the other aspect of internal risk is morale. What do you do when your employees, their morale is low? They're seeing things that They feel like maybe there's favoritism amongst staff. They feel like they're unappreciated. They're disenchanted with what they're doing. How do you combat that? What do you do about it? So that's another component of the human risk. Equipment and IT risk. That's another internal risk that you have to take into consideration. So if you have older equipment, you have a company vehicle with maintenance issues, how does the downtime of this equipment or this vehicle impact your business? You have to have a backup plan. What are you going to do? So these are the things that you have to start, and not just thinking about, but writing a plan down, a strategy down. If these things occur, this is what I plan to do about it. And not just this is what I plan to do about it, but A, B, C. Detail it out, to really, really put yourself in a position where if this happens, I don't have to scramble and figure this out. I got this. All right. So the other internal risk to consider is your physical location. So if you have a storefront, depending upon the condition of the storefront, you always have to consider maintenance to attract and maintain your customers, right? Utilities and phone lines. What if something were to happen to those? You have to take those things into consideration. And then, if you have a leasing agreement, if you don't own the property, but you have a leasing agreement, you have to look at the language of that agreement to understand who's responsible for what. Am I responsible for the utility line should something happen? Am I responsible for, plumbing issues or what have you? Because every lease is different, and don't assume that because you were at one place and they took care of everything there, that the leasing language at this new place is going to be the same. So you just have to read those contracts. You have to understand the implications should something happen, and have a plan in place to help you tackle those things. All right. And and with the physical location, there are a lot of components of that are insurable, right, under a property insurance policy. There are some components that are not. An insurance policy is another contract where you need to understand the language of that contract and know what is covered and what is not. A lot of times when I used to handle claims, we would cover the language of the property policies that I worked with. We would cover ensuing damage of a property, but the actual thing that broke, depending upon what caused it to break, and typically if it's from an installation issue, if it's a defect of that particular piece of equipment or product or what have you, it's not covered under your property policy. So if the hot water heater go out and all the water spews about and it damages the floors and everything else, we got the floors. The floors are good. The drywall is good. The molding is good. That hot water heater, that's on you. That's not, from an insurance perspective, a lot of times, and like I said, you got to look at that language, but a lot of times there's not coverage there for that actual piece of equipment that broke down. There are very specific, what they call perils, that have to be in place, that have to have occurred in order for that piece of equipment to be covered. So just know that, understand that. And that's how you prepare to navigate through these things should they happen. So you have to think about those unexpected costs that affect your ability to meet your monthly expenses. And what's your plan to maintain your cash flow so that you have money set aside should these unexpected things occur? All right. Let's see. So let's move into external risks. So external risks to your business. So strange things can create external risk to your business. And the thing that's really interesting about external risk is that we have absolutely no control over the things that occur outside of our business. Internal risks, that human risk, that equipment and IT risk, the physical location, we can control those things, right? There are certain measures we can put into place, certain strategies we can implement to help us in controlling that. External risk, you can You cannot avoid those things happening. I guess that's the best thing. That's the best way I could put that. You cannot avoid those things from happening. So external risks are current political climates, like what we're seeing right now, with protesting, and there's property damage that's occurred because of protesting, right? Uh, how legislation impacts import and export, depending upon if you're selling products, your products are coming from overseas. Has changes in legislation had an impact in the cost of you obtaining those products, or has a change in legislation causing issues as far as you even getting your products, right? Pandemic. Pandemic is an external risk that you have no control over. How do you prepare? How do you plan for those things? And I think what we're seeing is that no one, very few people planned for a pandemic, because who would? It happens once every 100 years. So you don't anticipate that it's going to happen on your watch. But now we're seeing that there has to be some sort of preparation for those things, right? So, global economy climate, that impacts all of us. Should something change globally, right? Competition. You got new folks that come into your area that are taking your customers. What do you do? How do you identify your competitors? Are you doing a good job of identifying your competitors? Do you know who they are? Do you know how far in proximity they are from you? Do you know how much of the market they make up? Market changes in the cost to do business. You don't have any control over that, but how do you navigate that? What strategies can you implement to help you navigate that if there are changes in your costs? Supply chain. Okay, so who are your vendors? Where are they located geographically? Do you have alternate vendors? Are there threats to your supply chain? You need to know these things. The market changes. Let's see. We talked about market changes like fuel cost and leasing costs and fluctuations in any of those. The business environment affected by federal, state, city, and city laws and ordinance changes, right? So like curfews that get implemented like they have during this pandemic. Weather and natural disasters. We're coming up on, oh, we're in hurricane season. We are in hurricane season right now. So before you know it, there could very well, especially on the East Coast, be a hurricane that impacts your business and then, or impacts your supply chain. What do you do? So, of course, with a hurricane, if you have property, if your property's impacted, you're golden, right? You have property insurance. However, if it impacts your supply chain, there's other considerations that you need to take. You need to ensure you have alternate vendors available to you that can quickly be engaged should your original supplier be out of business because of the impact of weather or any other circumstance. Okay? And then there are community changes. Let's see, changes in the age, the spending habits, and the income of your customers. So, pandemic, people have been out of work for months. They're not making money. They're not spending money. What do you do? So, those are a few. I'm intended to make this a 10-minute long video, and that's 20 minutes. But those are just a few of the risks to consider. And so what you do is you sit down, you write out all the human element risks that you think you have, all the IT and equipment risks that you may have, and etc. And then you start to think about, how do I tackle this if something were to happen? And what are the possible things that could happen? First, what are the possible things that could happen to these different components of my business? And then how do I navigate that? what is the strategies that I can employ that will aid me in ensuring the profitability of my business and the sustainability of my business. So, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, comment below, like the page. Let me know what other information you want to know about. Let me know if you want a part 2, because I can do that. If you are interested in me working with you in putting together a risk management plan, I do that. If you are interested in quoting commercial insurance for your business, I do that too. I do personal lines as well. So hit me up again, Tiffany Parker of TD Parker's Risk Management and Insurance Consulting LLC. I am licensed in Virginia. I say we, it's just me. I am licensed in Virginia as a broker and a consultant. So feel free to reach out. All right. My contact info is on the page, and probably I'll put it below. All right. Take care. Happy Tuesday.